From Storm Tracker 6, this is Forecast First, sponsored by Auto Owners Insurance. Simple human sense.
Some sunshine out there today and fairly pleasant temperatures, a little below average. Current readings are in the upper 20s with 27 Lansing and Howell as well as Jackson, still 30 degrees in Adrian. So we look at the satellite and radar, no travel issues out there this evening. Couple flurries here and there today, no big deal. We're awaiting a storm system to form to our southwest, could bring the biggest snow we've seen so far this winter season. That is on the way as we head into Wednesday. If your travel plans take you out tonight or for Tuesday, I think we're in good shape, but it's going to be cold out there, even with cloud cover increasing tonight. Temperatures by tomorrow morning should dip into the upper teens, so a bit of a cold start to the day. We've got even colder weather with a turn of Arctic air in the forecast. 6 News at 6 starts right now.
WLNS is here for you with 6 News at 6.
The city of Howell has denounced hate groups as well as a group that's fighting against hate. It is our top story at 6. Thanks for joining us. I'm Sherry Jones.
And I'm Siobhan Klepfer. On Thursday night, a group called SAGE screened a documentary in Howell called Face of Hate, which explores the history surrounding a white supremacist in Howell. And Nazis showed up outside of the event.
Then on Friday, the city issued a statement stating that while hate has no home in Howell, it also criticized the group that sponsored the event.
Taryn Simmons went back today to talk to SAGE leaders about the response and what they hope the city can do to prevent Nazi protests.
Sherry, Siobhan, in the release, the city says it, quote, denounces these messengers of hate and goes on to say it, quote, strongly denounces the group Stand Against Extremism, or SAGE, brought masked, untrained armed security, which they say was irresponsible. SAGE leaders say otherwise.
We invited individuals who are volunteers who are trained in de-escalation techniques, specifically to address issues such as those that might have come up during those interactions.
Daniel Wheeler-Fowles says they feel like the city is ignoring the actual issue.
The city is literally saying, I don't want to listen to this minority group, but we will, denounce them. They're basically saying we don't want the voices of minority individuals to be upheld and to be shared.
Last Thursday, SAGE organizers say a group of men holding Nazi flags harassed moviegoers in Howell, prompting a counter-protest. Now they can't believe the city is criticizing them.
The city's statement made it clear that they have not seen the important content that's in the documentary that we're trying to get out there, which is The Face of Hate. And it has unique lessons for our community specifically on what we can do to improve and be better.
SAGE co-founder Julie Ohashi says that local law enforcement was also at the event. They didn't do much to protect the people at the event.
The police were contacted. They just sat by and watched. There was an assault on a minority veteran who's a Howell business owner. There was a Latina woman who was called an ethnic slur.
The city's statement says that extremism is a Michigan problem, not just in Howell. But SAGE wants to see more from its local leaders.
Face of Hate clearly proves that we have an active white supremacy issue in Livingston County. And what are we going to do about it? We can't pretend this away.
We've reached out to the mayor of Howell about the city's statement and have not yet heard back. The city does say they've identified members of the hate group. We've sent them formal requests so we can know what they know. Sherry, Siobhan.
All right, Taryn, thank you. Governor Gretchen Whitmer released more information today about her plans to refocus on fixing Michigan roads.
And it comes with a $3 billion price tag, most of which is not accounted for.
The governor does explain some of the funding in the form of $470 million from a tax on wholesale marijuana. Other than that, the governor calls for cutting $500 million from the state budget, although she does not specify where, and increasing the corporate business tax by $1.6 billion. A lobbyist for the State Chamber of Commerce is critical of that plan.
There is no magic bags of money in the back room of these companies that pay the corporate income tax. They have to figure out how to pass that tax on to their customers. So that will be through higher prices.
State Republicans released their own plan. It includes devoting all taxes paid for fuel to road repairs.
Well, Michigan recently enacted a new law banning drivers from holding a cell phone while they're behind the wheel.
And a new survey shows that law might be having the intended impact.
For more than a decade now, the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration has done annual surveys about how many people use their mobile devices while driving. The most recent survey, which is the first after the hands-free law went into effect, showed a 1.2% decrease in the number of drivers who use their phones behind the wheel. MSU civil engineering professor Tim Gates says with 8 million drivers in Michigan, that translates to about 96,000 fewer drivers using their phones on the road.
The president of Michigan State University is speaking out tonight about decisions by the President of the United States.
It's in the wake of executive orders and other decisions that affect higher education coming from the Oval Office.
Nick Simon joins us now to talk about how MSU is responding to all of these changes. Nick.
Sherry, Siobhan, Kevin Guskiewicz says that it's a real challenge trying to keep up with it all. Not just the latest presidential proclamations, but the lawsuits, court orders, and injunctions that have followed in their wake. But the MSU president says that the school's core values and principles will remain the same, things like inclusivity, innovation, and service to society. Still, the school gets hundreds of millions of dollars in everything from research grants to student loans, much of which comes from the federal government. Guskiewicz says that MSU has set up a website to help communicate what's happening in Michigan and Washington, and they will update it as the situation continues to change. He says it's the best way to try and communicate what's happening as events continue to evolve. Still, Guskiewicz is asking for patience and understanding, adding that the rapidity of actions will sometimes make it difficult to communicate on every action to the entire university. He also says that the school has its own government relations team, and they've been working with numerous other groups that advocate on behalf of universities and higher education. MSU also has a rapid response team to help figure out what's happening in Washington and how it will affect what's happening in East Lansing.
Thank you, Nick. A delegation from several different activist groups paid a visit today to the office of Michigan's newest congressman, Tom Barrett. The congressman is in Washington, so the group of about 20 people was only able to talk to his staff, and they wanted to express their concerns about Elon Musk, head of the unofficial Department of Government Efficiency, that's pushing to shut down federal departments, lay off career civil servants, gaining access to sensitive information, and using unsecured artificial intelligence.
Biden listened to the courts, that Biden responded to courts telling the administration you can't do this. Trump is ignoring it, and he's doing so at the behest of the Congress, who is inaction is a choice here, and that's the choice they're making, and that concerns us greatly because it's their job to take action.
The organizations represented by this group include End Gun Violence Michigan, the Sierra Club, and the Education Rights Group 482 Forward.
Winter weather is roaring back this week here in mid-Michigan with snowfall in the forecast and dangerously cold temperatures. While Consumers Energy says it is providing $5 million to local nonprofit organizations to help people pay their heating bills. Those include the United Way, the Salvation Army, and the Michigan Veterans Trust Fund. If you need help paying for your heating bill this month, dial 211 to learn about the resources available to help. And you can also find a list of resources to help you stay warm this winter in the Scene on 6 section of our website, WLNS.com.
From Storm Tracker 6, this is Weather First, sponsored by Auto Owners Insurance. Simple human sense.
We are headed into a very active week with a couple storm systems on the way, and both could be impactful in terms of snowfall and cold temperatures. Satellite and radar today shows cloud cover gathering to our southwest. Some of that cloud cover will move in tonight, but we're not anticipating any travel problems out there. So if you have to be out tonight or tomorrow, don't worry about things slowing you down too much. Precision cast through the morning hours, quiet weather just becoming cloudy. There could be a passing flurry or light snow shower tomorrow, but we're not anticipating any major problems. One system to the south, again, that's heading well southeast of us. We're going to wait for the second system to form over Texas and begin to move north and east. By Wednesday afternoon, early afternoon, probably between noon and around 2 or 3, snow will overspread the area, pick up in intensity, and it could be coming down fairly heavy by Wednesday evening through 11 o'clock. Some question as to how far north will this mix line get. Will they make it to Jackson, perhaps Lansing? Current thinking is it stays in southeastern portions of the state of Michigan, so primarily a snow event. event. By early Thursday morning, it's pushing northeast, and we'll see nicer weather returning, although there probably will still be a few snow showers scattered about the region. Total accumulation, now we've seen bigger snows, certainly, but this is the biggest one we'll have seen this winter, with a solid 4 to 8 inches anticipated across the region. Yes, there could be a little bit more than that, and I'll get into that in just a second. First, though, a look across the state, and notice it's basically centered right over mid-Michigan. That's the current thinking on the storm track. Social media. This is what I see posted all the time, these extreme events, 12 to 15, 11 to 14 inches. It's not within the realm of being impossible. It could happen, but the most likely outcome from St. John through Lansing and Jackson is for a solid 4 to 8 inches of snow, maybe 3 to 6 towards Hillsdale. Could we see 8, 9 inches, maybe 10? Again, it's not completely out of the question, but it becomes a little less likely the further you get away from that most likely scenario. So that's why we're thinking what we're thinking. Just beware when you see those high totals posted on Facebook. How will it affect the roads? It will have a big impact. We'll let this roll ahead through Wednesday morning. Wednesday morning, you're heading out, no issues. Wednesday afternoon, by 5 and 6 o'clock, things begin to get quite slow. And then as the evening progresses, by 11 o'clock, it's basically a no-go across the region, with improving conditions beginning to return by Thursday morning. Temperatures are currently sitting in the 20s across the area. Skyview Network, beautiful out there in terms of the sky cover. Nice color, temperature at 28 degrees. High today in McLaren Canton was up to 33, not too bad at all. In Grand Ledge, similar numbers, temperatures at 27 after a high of 30, morning low 13. Wind gust today was a little over 20 miles per hour. Tonight in Jackson, temperatures at 27, today's high 32. Look at that low, down to 7 degrees this morning, a bitterly cold start. Finally in Hillsdale, temperatures at 28 degrees, 32 is the high, and 11 the overnight low. Tonight's forecast, 17 will be the low tonight, so not as cold because some clouds are going to begin to roll in. Tomorrow, mostly cloudy to cloudy skies. Temperature will top out in the mid-20s and just a passing flurry or snow shower. The 6-day forecast, weather-aware days for Wednesday and Thursday because of snow impacts. Second system moves in Saturday morning through Sunday morning. That could have some decent snow with it, so weather-aware days both of those days as well. Arctic air spills in Sunday into Monday with single-digit lows on the way. No major storm systems next week, but it stays cold most of the week.
Geez, February.
I know, right?
You know, I made fun of, we haven't seen any big snows. We're not going to see any big snows this winter. Here we go.
You jinxed us.
Yes, I did.
All right, Damon.